He- Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Media Boat Podcast, your weekly editions of us talking about movies, TV, music, and video games, not necessarily in that order. My name is Mike. His name is Matt.
My name is Matt. His name is Mike. Thank you for joining us today. It is July the 3rd, not the 4th. That's tomorrow. July the 3rd, 2024. And yeah, we have a bit of a show for you.
Yeah, we've got lots of stuff coming to your ear holes right now, unless you're watching us on YouTube, in which case, hello.
It's also your eye holes,
Your eye holes.
a
This
multi-hole
is
experience.
episode 442. And we're creeping slowly to 444, which coincidentally enough will be after the All-Star break.
Yes,
But we'll get there.
we'll get there.
Yes, because first we start with the music section. Start the music section with the Billboard. Start the Billboard with the Hot 100 and the hottest song in the land. Once again,
Mhm.
is not the one you're thinking of. It's I Had Some Help by Post Malone, featuring Morgan Wallen. At two, coming up to number two, a bar song, Tipsy by Shabuzi.
Mhm.
Coming in at three, Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar. At four, Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter. And getting the boot all the way down, number five, Please, Please, Please by Sabrina Carpenter.
Yep. Yep. Sad to see it drop, but them's the breaks.
As for your albums chart, your Billboard 200, still reigning at number one, The Tortured Poets Department by Taylor Swift. At two, The Secret of Us by Gracie Abrams,
Yep.
debuting at number two.
Yep.
At three, One Thing at a Time by Morgan Wallen. Coming in at four, Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish. And rounding out your top five, Ex Odo by Peso Pluma.
Yeah, not too much two new ones this week. The Secret of Us by Gracie Abrams actually has a Taylor Swift feature on it, so
Yep.
that may or may not have helped it get that number two spot there.
Uh, and if you didn't like any of those albums, we have new releases. Release.
Well,
We have new release
new
because it is a
release.
holiday weekend. Only one
Yes.
new release. It is Happenings by Kasabian.
Yep, that's it. That's pretty much all I saw. So yeah, quiet release week.
Yep.
Also
So,
quiet news week, as you'll find out in just a moment.
oh yes, because let's get into the music news, and we start with a little bit of heart in the story.
Oh,
Well, because it's a music story, it's Heart, the band,
the band.
because they have postponed the continuation of their Royal Flush tour after lead singer Ann Wilson announced that she underwent surgery to remove a cancerous presence in her body. In a post on Instagram, the 74-year-old revealed that she, quote, underwent an operation to remove something that, if it turns out, or as it turns out, was cancerous, close quote. Following the surgery, doctors advised her to undergo preventative chemotherapy, and as part of her recovery and treatment, Wilson has been instructed to take a year off from performing to fully recover. So she continues in her post, quote, to the ticket buyers, I really do wish we could do these gigs. Please know that I absolutely plan to be back on stage in 2025. My team is getting those details sorted and will let you know the plan as soon as we can.
Yeah. You always hate to see a legacy act have something like this happen to one of their members, especially a core member like Ann Wilson. You know, Hart is very important in rock history, especially female-led rock history.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's kind of sad to see this, but it seems like that they removed the cancer and she's doing better. And so, yeah, just a matter of time until they're able to go to her again. But like she says, it's probably going to be next year. All these dates have to be postponed. All these tickets have to be either refunded or held. So it's just, yeah, just a pain to deal with if you were going to go to this tour.
Yeah, but we have seen this with several legacy acts already
Yeah.
had to be postponed, whether it is for surgery, ailment, or just random acts of just random, just the other randomness that comes with touring at such an old age.
Yeah, it's true.
But
You never know.
yeah, but also that comes with it. If you're able to be 74 and still touring, props, major
Yeah,
props.
it's very impressive, honestly.
Yes. All right, let's get into some music thoughts then.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna start with a regret.
Oh, a regret.
Yes, I listened to Loom by Imagine Dragons.
Hey, you did that to yourself. You knew what you were getting into.
To be fair, I did not know what I was getting into because I admit I skipped their previous album. Because it's their fifth studio album, so I listened to one, two, three. I skipped four. Um, so Loom, not what I expected, because I've skipped about 5 years, I'd say, of Imagine Dragons listening, and they've gone places that I don't want to follow them to. So much so that halfway through listening to Loom, I was like, you know what? I actually want to go back and listen to their first album, and see, is it still good? Does it hold up? Is it what I thought it was? So I did that after listening to Loom. I
Hmm.
went back to what's the album called? Night Visions, first album, and I was like, okay, this is a hit. This is a banger. I like this time. I like this tempo. And I hate to see where they went because they went a whole lot into overproducing and overproduction on their songs.
I was gonna say, what specifically are you finding wrong with their current direction?
It is that it is a lot of use of reverb, of echoing, is a lot of that graininess that almost verges, and the songs and lyrics almost verge on rock rap,
Mm,
a la Machine Gun Kelly, than their first album, which was a lot more drawn out rock ballad ish, which
okay.
is what I liked at the beginning. There are a
In-
couple in Loom, which is why I'm like, oh, there it is. I can see them in here still, but it feels like they've definitely, as we've talked about before, gone the way of arena tours, but here more specifically in Loom, way into the arena tour space, way into the blown out speakers, I would say.
Mhm.
Did not like it.
Interesting to hear you say such things about rap rock when your favorite band is Linkin Park, but sure.
Yeah, but they go hard into the rap part instead of the rock. Also, Linkin Park is new metal, so don't even push that over to the side there.
Whatever. It's a thin line, I tell you. Thin line.
Yes, a thin line that I walk and I call you out on. There.
Fair enough. So modern Imagine Dragons not doing anything for you.
They are not. But also not the only album I listened to because I caught up with the number two album on this chart, as
Okay.
did you last week, which we didn't talk about. The Secret of Us by
Yeah,
one Gracie Abrams.
I don't know how much you have to say about this, but I have so little to say about this that I didn't even remember to talk about it last week. That was not 100% on purpose, but it feels like it might be. This thing is largely forgettable. I don't remember anything that happens on this record except for when Taylor showed up. Like, I don't know how it stayed with you, but that's pretty much all I have to say. I think she's like an okay singer. I think there's some decent songwriting happening. I like the Aaron Dessner production on the Taylor song, but like beyond that, I don't remember anything.
She did open for Taylor Swift on on the US leg of the
Yep,
tours
she
for
did.
several cities.
Yep.
One of the openers, I think she was like the first opener too.
Hmm.
Um, but as I was listening to it, I was like, this sounds like someone trying to be Taylor Swift. This sounds a lot like someone writing as if a Taylor Swift song or a ghost writing for Taylor Swift. And then she
Yeah.
appears on it. I was like, yeah, that confirms it. Yeah, check mark. Got it.
A lot of it feels like a like a post folklore Taylor Swift record.
Mhm.
I got other notes of like Diet Lana in there.
Yep.
I like she's like I think the thing about Gracie Abrams is I don't know who she is. I don't know if she's really carved an identity out for herself. There's no real identifying factors I can tell you right now after listening to that record where I can say, yes, that is a Gracie Abrams song. I don't know if I could do that.
It definitely feels like she's trying to be a part of the current pop genre and pop songs. But like you said, without putting her own stamp on it, just
Yeah.
going with the crowd, going with the flow.
Yeah. It's
What makes
unfortunate.
it a Gracie Abrams album? We don't know.
Right. I mean, I would have said the same thing about Sabrina Carpenter up until like a couple months ago. Now she's really carved out a niche for herself.
Mhm.
And so I think that maybe Gracie Abrams just needs to do that. Gracie Abrams needs an espresso to like differentiate her from everybody else to like say like this is the kind of song I make.
Are we judging too harshly because like compare everything to Olivia Rodrigo, who just came out the doors, busted down, and be like, "Here I am. This is me."
Yeah. I mean, Olivia is a great example. So is Chapel Roan.
Mhm.
Like there are examples that you can look at with current people in the pop sphere that were just like, no, I'm going to make the kind of music that I want to make. For all we know, this is the music that Gracie wants to make. But again, if you don't see her personality in it, then it's like it just kind of gets lost in the airwaves.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Mhm. But you listened to two other albums.
Yeah, I'll be brief. There's not much to talk about on either of them. First up, Megan Thee Stallion put out her self-titled album. We've been over on the show that you're not exactly a fan. And guess what? This album won't make you one. This
Ah,
is more Megan, more what people who
so
like
yeah, I was
Megan
trying to be
want.
dancing to that.
Yeah, maybe don't dance to that.
Okay.
But I liked it. It's okay. It's a decent rap record. She, unlike Gracie Abrams, has a lot of personality, and every one of these songs is just dripping with it. No pun intended. Uh, she is the person who gave us WAP.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's fine. I think that there's some highlights on it. There's one song in which she makes a lot of anime references, which is fun. Because she's a big anime dork. People who know Megan know this.
Yes.
And yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's all right. I don't think it's the best rap record of the year. Also, I haven't listened to a whole lot of rap records this year, so I wouldn't be the one to tell you that anyway. But yeah, she seems to be delivering on what people who like her kind of music like. So that's there if you want it. Um, on the flip side is the new Camila Cabello record. I mentioned briefly last week that this is kind of a pivot for her. Well, I'm actually surprised with how much this isn't a pivot. I think the way this is marketed is a little deceiving. The record's called CXOXO, and the lead single I hated. It's the opening track here. It's called I Love It. And it's like this hyper pop thing where she just says, I love it, I love it, I love it over and over and over again. It's really grating. It doesn't really have a melody. But then the rest of the record's actually kind of okay, except for one big problem. Drake is here and he's on two back-to-back tracks.
Oh,
Read the room, Camilla. So besides that like that little road bump, what do you call those things? Speed bumps.
Speed Bump,
Road bump. I don't know what my brain is.
Roadkill.
Roadkill, maybe. I don't know, Drake. If Kendrick has his way. But yeah, but overall, it's an okay record. I thought it goes some interesting places. I think Camilla sounds good on it. I think that it has a lot of baggage between all sorts of things. the Drake of it all, also the hyperpop weird fixation on a couple of tracks, and also Camilla's existing baggage with cultural appropriation. This is somebody who had a history of maybe posting questionable things, questionable jokes on Tumblr. She has since removed them and since apologized for them. However, I think that's still in a lot of the back of a lot of people's minds. And so I think there's a lot to overcome here. And making a record that she says is a ode to rap and R&B, you're not doing yourself any favors, Camilla. Like, maybe that's not exactly the image that you want to do. Anyway, I think it's okay. I didn't like it as much as her last record, if for what it's worth. And so I don't know. It's there.
All right. Wow. Just 4 albums and
Yeah.
no hits.
No, not really. Kind of a dull week, dull couple of months, honestly. I mean, for mainstream pop music, besides, Cardi's Brat or Charlie's Brat, which is like still amazing. Like, I'm still listening to that thing. It is slowly rising the ranks on my personal list.
Ooh.
Um, I mean, if you're into music that we don't cover here, there's a lot to like, but we don't have time to get into that.
No, we don't have time to get into this podcast.
No.
No. Okay. So, well, then let's move over into video games where we start with new releases,
Yes.
including Cyber Citizen Shockman Zero for everything but the
Mhm.
PC.
Yeah. Whatever that is.
The Legend of Heroes, Trails Through Daybreak for PC, PS4, PS5, and the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
There's also Final Fantasy 14, Dawn Trail, which is the DLC, extra DLC, or the extra expansion, whatever you want to call it, for PC, PS4, PS5, and Xbox Series X. The First Descendant for everything but the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
And your biggest release coming out technically tomorrow.
But really tonight.
Eh, trying to play it tonight, but won't let me. Zenless Zone Zero for the PC and the PS5. Also
Yes.
mobile.
Yeah, also mobile, but we don't include that typically. Yeah,
Yep.
this is the new open world online RPG by the Genshin Impact and Honkai
Honkai
Star
Star
Rail
Rail.
people.
Yep.
It's
The
basically,
Hoyoverse.
from what I understand, this is like a cyberpunk Genshin,
Cyberpunk hack
basically.
and slash.
Yeah, it's a
Yes.
cyberpunk Genshin. Like, so there's like guns and stuff that you don't have in like Genshin Impact because of its like old timey fantasy realm. But here looks like it's really cool visually. It has a vibe to it. However, it is very much one of those games. So if you bounced off of Genshin because of the gotcha stuff or the grinding or the controls, well, all of that is going to be the same here. So prepare yourself. It doesn't look like this is going to differentiate that in any way. So yeah, buyer beware, or I guess free to player beware.
Uh, I will be checking this one out.
I might also check this out. I'm on their email newsletter because I was like curious about it because I like the art style.
Mhm.
Maybe we'll talk about this next week, depending on whether we get in.
I'm probably gonna get it on the phone, mobile.
Hmm.
I'll try and get it on the PS5.
I'll probably
Uh,
play it on PC because I ain't playing that on a phone.
hey,
I learned that the hard way
we'll
with
run the
Genshin.
gamut. Well, you know.
Yeah.
All right. Well then, let's get right into video games and start with a game
Yes.
that we're coming out later this year in September. Well, it's not really a new game because Capcom is not making any new games anymore outside. I know,
Street
yeah.
Fighter 6 just came out last year. Come on, give them a
Yeah,
break.
outside of, the other big IP, Street Fighter and Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. They're not doing Mega Mans anymore.
Maybe
Uh,
someday.
maybe someday. But they're returning back to the well of a dead franchise, and they're rising it up from the
Yes.
corpse
Just like a
in a
zombie.
deluxe remaster, just like a zombie, yeah.
Mhm.
Because Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster will be released this September, Capcom has announced. And confirmed during Capcom Next The remaster of the 2006, oh god, that game's almost 20 years old, game will be released on September 19th, 2024. The remaster will include quality of life improvements such as auto-saving, revamped controls, improved UI, and more. Everyone's favorite. Capcom also confirmed that the game will be remastered using the Re engine, Capcom's versatile engine behind its recent string of hits for Resident Evil.
So did you play Dead Rising back in the day?
I was not allowed in the mall, so no, I did not.
Well, all those zombies were in there. You couldn't get in. I
Yes.
did not. I played a little bit of Dead Rising. I played mostly the demo for Dead Rising, which is a classic demo. Anybody who owned a 360, Xbox 360 in like the 2006 era, like probably downloaded and played that thing to death. But yeah, I thought it was okay. I didn't like how stringent the difficulty was about like how if you miss anything, you have to start over and all that stuff. It was very hard. It was a very difficult game. I'm assuming that the remake will kind of take a lot of the quality of life improvements that they introduced in a lot of the sequels, especially 4, which I don't believe had any time limit at all. That being said, people like this game for its time limit and for that difficulty. So hopefully that bringing it back will make a lot of people who are nostalgic for that game happy. I already see, though, people are complaining about the visual style. Apparently, the character designs look a lot different than they used to on the 360. But hey, what do you expect them to do? This is a game that's literally over 15 years old. There's only so much you can do than kind of build a lot of these designs from scratch. So they did what they could.
See, I thought everyone liked this game for the wacky uh guns. Oh no, not guns, weapons you could
There is,
craft in
I mean,
the game.
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the coolest part about the game is being able to take random shit from the mall and use it to kill zombies with, like random chainsaws and axes and like squirt guns and all sorts of ridiculous things. You put a little helmet on them and they kind of stumble around.
Yeah, I
So yeah,
thought
it's
that
still
was the
that
whole
game.
point of it. Yeah. All right. Well, Dead Rising Deluxe coming later this year in September.
It sure is. Oh,
All
I
right.
just remembered. I have a video game.
You actually played something.
Oops, as my keyboard decides not to work. I took advantage of the Steam summer sale that is happening right now and played something that I had gotten tipped off of on a podcast that I listened to. Let me pitch this to you. The game's called Mini Shoot Adventures. It's on Steam. It's on sale right now.
Well, you lost me right there, but okay.
Right. You have no PCing.
Yes, me have no
Um,
steaming.
yeah, you're not steaming mad. So do you like twin stick shooters like
Do I?
Geometry Wars?
Yeah.
Do you like Zelda?
Okay.
What if I told you that Mini Shoot Adventures is a Zelda twin stick shooter?
Which Zelda? Top-down Zelda or new
Yeah,
Zelda?
top down.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what Mini Shoot Adventures is. It's really neat. It's a cute little game where you play as a little spaceship who like shoots like a twin stick shooter ship would, except you are exploring a map not unlike the original Legend of Zelda, and you're going around destroying enemies, exploring dungeons, solving puzzles, and flying around the environment while upgrading your ship. So you're leveling up every time you just defeat enemies, which, unlike Zelda, gives you more of a reason and incentive to kill every enemy that you see. You're defeating bosses, you're gaining new powers, and you're unlocking new parts of the map to explore, all to save your fellow spaceship friends who have been captured by the enemy. Who knows? There's not a whole lot of story to it. It's very light in the world building. All you know is that you're a cute little ship and you have to upgrade yourself and explore the world around you. It's really fun. I played like 5 hours of this thing last night. It was really fun to just jump in and upgrade my ship and see how far I can get.
Yeah. Metroidvania Zelda-like
Yeah.
2022 game.
Yeah. technically it came out a little bit ago, but it's on sale, so I decided to check it out. But that's pretty
Hmm.
much all I've been playing.
Sounds like fun. All right. I've still been playing Final Fantasy Rebirth. I think I've pretty much convinced myself to get the big bundle because I'm going to get the NCAA game.
Yeah.
Especially with the latest trailer that came out for Dynasty mode. They put a lot of work into it. It looks good. I'm getting sold.
Yeah,
Uh,
I knew
Stupid
you would.
advertising's working on me.
That's always what happens.
Yeah, someone's actually doing their job there, I guess.
I guess so.
Stupid advertising. All right. But I will be able to talk about that for 2 weeks.
Okay, so stay tuned for Madden and College. What is that game called? College in what?
NCAA College Football 24
24? Is it still NCAA? Because I know I
or
thought they were
25.
for a while they were referring to it as EA Sports College Football 25.
You are right. EA Sports College Football
Yeah, they're
25.
not using the NCAA name
Yeah.
in the title, at least. They're using their licenses, but they're not using it in the title. Probably wise.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Especially they won't be around for another 6 years.
well, we'll get there. All right. That'll do it from video games. So let's move on in to the second half of the show where we always start with television. And we always start the television section with the sports corner. Point, point, point. We start with a pseudo sport, but if you're
Hey,
real good at it, it's as serious as the rest of them.
it's a serious sport that I watch every year, once a year at the exact same time. Like most people watch the
Yes,
Super Bowl.
you're right. But in this case, it's something that happens every July 4th. You know it well. It's the hot dog eating contest, famously the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Well, a favorite of the hot dog eating contest will not be eligible this year and will not be showing up on the stage. None other than world record holder Joey Chestnut. You may have heard this a few months ago. This is when I heard it, but
Mhm.
he was eliminated from the competition after he made a deal with Impossible Foods, not Nathan's, as a sponsor. So yes, because he's out there hawking vegan hot dogs, as he should, um, he's gotten pushed out by the Nathan's people and will not be competing. However, if you like good old Mr. Chestnut and are also a fan of fellow hot dog enthusiast and world record holder at one point, I don't remember his first name, but last name Kobayashi.
I think his first name is Maru.
Maru Kobayashi? Sounds right. I don't know. No, I
It's
think you're thinking of the
Takeru.
Star Trek test.
There you go. You got there.
What's his full name?
Takeru Kobayashi.
Takeru Kobayashi. Well, if you like to see them not at the Nathan stage, guess what? They're having a versus match themselves scheduled for September 2nd, exclusively on Netflix. So you will get your hot dog fare in two doses this year. One sans chestnuts and one with.
I think the one with Chestnut versus Kobayashi will probably have a better record set because one, probably not going to be outdoors. Two, not going to be in the middle of July. And three, they're going to push each other hard to get to see who is the best. There is rumors going around that if Kobayashi does beat Chestnut, he will then officially retire. Most people think he already did just because he hasn't been competing in the hot dog eating contest.
Right.
But that's just because he's not competing. Well, one, he's not competing against Chestnut, but also he got pushed out of the major league eating
I see.
circuit back in the early aughts, which is why he hasn't been back to compete. But
Well,
without Joey Chestnut there, this does mean for the first time in 7 years, we will have a new hot dog eating champion.
well, that's exciting. So
And the
tune in.
second in 13 years, I think.
Okay. It's been a moment. It's been a
Yeah.
moment. So we'll see.
Yep.
But in the meantime, there's other sports happening.
Other
Mostly,
sports.
I mean, yes. The trials are still happening for the U.S. Olympic team to see who gets to go to Paris. This
Mhm.
past week, we saw the gymnastics team get their trials done, and we now know that gold medalist Simone Biles will return to the Olympic stage as she will lead the USA gymnastics team yet again. I did watch some of these trials. I got to see her, not her best series of runs, but she did enough to qualify along
Mhm.
with some fresh faces. So yeah, well, I'm really excited to see how the team does.
Yep. She'll be competing with Suni Lee, who stepped
Yes,
up last Olympics round in Tokyo.
right.
So good to see her
Yeah,
still swinging around.
yeah. Be cool to see them both. And then, in case you're wondering about the
Unfortunately.
yes, and then unfortunately for people like you,
Yeah, I'm
super
gonna cry for
fans,
a second here. Bye.
yeah, fans of U.S. soccer star Alex Morgan are unfortunately going to be without her this Olympics. She is not going to be on the U.S. women's soccer team competing in Paris. So sorry, you will not see Alex, your dear
But
Alex
that's
Morgan.
okay. She had a good birthday this past yesterday. So
Congratulations to Alex Morgan.
yes.
And by the way, the Paris Olympics are scheduled for July 26th.
Hey,
Hey,
that's this month.
it's coming up. We're almost there. All right, let's move into some league headlines. We start with the NFL. The jury in the trial for Sunday Ticket. Remember this? This was after rights holding like flipped from the Sunday Ticket and they made the new deal with YouTube. Well, there was some baggage they had to take care of in the courts. Well, the MLB had to pay
NFL.
$96 million in damages to bars who were like using Sunday tickets and basically exhibiting Sunday ticket games to their patrons, and $4.7 billion to fans who enjoyed Sunday ticket at said bars. So they have to pay out.
No, not to spars. People who purchased it for their own home, for
Oh,
their own
sure.
enjoyment.
Yeah.
Basically, anyone who purchased Sunday Ticket through either YouTube or DirecTV, who had it before,
Mhm.
for the past 10 years since 2013, is eligible for some of this payout as part of a class action lawsuit. Now, you, of
Okay.
course, had to have signed up for it, but then again, why wouldn't you have signed up for it if it's just easiest like click a button saying, yes, I was a part of it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it came out during the trial that the NFL purposely, when they made the Sunday Ticket, purposely told whoever purchased it that they cannot sell individual teams, which was a big sticking point of the Sunday Ticket. That if you want to watch your individual team, non-blackout day, you have to pay for all teams.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who are out of market don't want to pay up. Well, one, you don't pay up to specifically have either DirecTV or YouTube TV in the first place. And then two, then pay up an additional, I think, well, God, it was like $400-$500 just
It
for
was a lot of
YouTube
money.
TV this past year,
Yeah.
if not more, just for the Sunday Ticket package. So yeah, lots of money when it's the league who said they couldn't do this. This wasn't DirecTV saying they couldn't do this. This wasn't YouTube saying that they couldn't do this. This was the league telling them they could not sell individual games. It came out part of Discovery, part of the trial, that when ESPN was interested in purchasing it, that they wanted to provide individual teams, and the NFL came out and said, no, you cannot do that if you sign our agreement. And the court found that, well, if you purchase the rights, you should be able to do whatever you want to do with the rights.
Yeah. You would think,
And
but
you'd
no.
think, but no, not here. But that's why they're getting sued, and that's why they have to pay out now. And that's why they're going to pay 4.7 billion now. Um, I think it's in total to like everyone, it's like $14 billion in total. Because they have to pay out to like the cover the legal fees, legal costs, as well as any back pay is to the stations as well. That's
Mhm.
one reason why they had the Sunday Ticket and why they wanted it just all in one package, because the NFL gets paid from those subscribers, but also from the stations who do local games. And if everyone's paying for just a single package, the local games all of a sudden don't matter as much. So
Yeah.
huge, huge settlement and lawsuit. I've never paid for Sunday tickets. I've always gone out to watch it. But this does mean that if in the future they offer Sunday ticket on an individual team basis, I might even consider still not purchasing it because I really, really love Red Zone. I hope they don't get rid of Red Zone.
Fair enough. I think they'll always have red zone for you, just for you.
You say that, but there were talks like 10 years ago. Sorry, either 10 years ago or after the 10th anniversary, going into 10th year, of Scott Hansen leaving Red Zone and then shutting it down. But then the NFL this past year is shutting down its New York office and is moving everyone to the LA office, which is right across from SoFi Stadium. So they could use the background of SoFi Stadium and their own NFL headquarters studio and have everyone all in one location.
They could do that.
Yes, they could do that. They are doing
They could
that.
do that.
It's really good for NFL production and films. And
turns
out like I am really, really looking into that right now.
Hmm.
That's another thing. That's not here or there. We're talking about the jury and
Yes.
NFL being paid out here, or NFL having to pay out.
So yeah, if you're a former or current Sunday Ticket subscriber, go get that cash. It's yours for the taking.
Yeah, go get your $1,200.
Yes, exactly. Let's move on to MLB headline this week, which is that today All-Star voting wraps up. So you have to get your votes in.
You can't. I tried. You can't. It's done. It's locked.
Done. Okay.
The time has passed. You cannot vote for anyone else on the All-Star team.
So yeah, that has been decided. We will see who ends up in your starting and following lineups very soon here, I would imagine. We already know that Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper are in and starting. Beyond that, we have not heard any other names. So
those are your two lead vote getters.
Right.
So
we'll see more, including pitchers, very soon. Next up in
real quickly, I just saw this pop up on my newsfeed. Shohei Ohtani will not be a part of the home run derby this year.
Probably smart, because we saw what happened when he did.
He ruined his swing.
Yes, exactly. This is the Dodgers playing it safe. I'm sure. I bet that Shohei wanted to be in there, but then the fact that they're not letting him is probably a smart call. Yep. That's what I would do if I was in their place as well. The All-Star game and the home run derby shenanigans will all start the week of July 16th. So just a couple more weeks for All-Star adventure to begin.
Yep, right before the Manly Man Tears.
Exactly. We move now to, hey, is it getting drafty in here? It's time to talk about the drafts. We had 2 drafts this past week, the NBA draft and the NHL draft. We'll start with the NBA draft. Your number 1 overall pick there was Zachary Rissacher. Rissacher?
It's French. Rissacher?
I don't know, but the Atlanta Hawks picked Zachary as their number 1 pick. Reports of LeBron. Meanwhile, though, in some dark basketball news, there have been reports of LeBron sleeping with the teammate's mother.
Yes. Not only has he been sleeping with the mom, apparently he has a kid with the mom too.
This is your very elaborate joke that you're making about. Yes, LeBron's son, Bronny, was drafted by the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, he was.
LeBron and Bronny will be teammates. For how long? Who can say? But at least
another 2 years. As today, LeBron signed a 2-year extension. Bronny signed his 4-year rookie deal. So for at least 2 years scheduled, LeBron and Bronny will help make the Lakers buco bucks.
Yes, and this will be the first time a father and son have shared a jersey in the NBA. This has happened in baseball. It has not happened in basketball.
And it will probably... Oh, it's also happened in football, though.
Has it?
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes is his father. Tom Brady. So he gets him in the Super Bowl.
Anyways.
Hey, he's his
full of it today. We're full of these jokes. All right. Meanwhile, in the NHL draft, your number 1 overall pick was Macklin Celebrini, which is a great name. I love that name.
Always celebrating, all right.
Yes, indeed. Celebrini, good times. Come on. He was drafted by the San Jose Sharks in their first round pick. Meanwhile, the brand new baby team, Utah Hockey Club, which again is its tentative name, their first pick was Tej Iginla.
Ijinla.
Iginla. Soft G. I like
Yeah,
it.
soft G. Tej
Tej Iginla.
Ijinla.
Okay.
Yep. Currently, they will be called the Utah Hockey Club for the first year.
Yes.
We're still waiting on the official selection of the name of what it will
Let's
be
go
called
Yeti.
the following year. Come on, Yeti.
Let's go Yeti. Anyway. Then lastly, in sports headline news, we have some college updates for you. Basketball players have sued the NCAA over NIL use in March Madness promos and highlights. Let us know what the NIL is.
NIL is the name, image, and likeness
Thank you.
that the NCAA employed this past year or past 2 years now. Well, turns out that NCAA puts on the March Madness tournament have been using players, images, sounds, and clips not of the NIL teams that are currently under NIL use, but rather from like 2016, 2006, 1998. And they have continued to use their name, image, and likeness in promos and in highlights. And to them, they see that as the NCAA just been getting free publicity from their accomplishments on the court using their name, image, and likeness, which is why it's now come up and in a class action lawsuit to the NCAA saying, pay us or stop using us.
Damn. That's fucked up. Gotta say, come on, NCAA.
Yeah, but we've seen this outside of NCAA as well, outside of the basketball NCAA as well.
Yeah.
If you ever watch any old football highlight reels, the 2006 Rose Bowl of USC versus Texas, always on that highlight reel. So it's only a matter of time until Vince Young watches this and be like, you know what? I should be paid too. And you know what? He probably should be paid. And you know what? Reggie Bush did nothing wrong. And he should also be paid.
Oh, you keep working on that. I'm sure you'll help them figure it out.
Hey, the Heisman committee gave him his Heisman back.
That's
about
true.
time the NCAA gave him his money back.
Matter of time. Only a matter of time.
Plus interest. Because, you know, yeah, get that interest, just like Bobby Bonilla got his interest paid 2 days ago.
It's true. You love talking about that.
I love Bobby Bonilla Day.
All right. Anyway, that does it for sports, unless there's any other straggling sports stories you want to cover here.
I mean, it's from here because tomorrow is July 4th. For the next 3 weeks, you will all be inundated with Team USA gear, swag, stories, mementos, kachis, what have you.
It begins here.
It begins now. Yes.
Yep. Peacock's already changed their logo on to have the little Olympic rings next to it. They know where their bread is buttered. They know why people are going to show up to them this week.
Yep. They better show everything live streaming because I will be watching enthusiastically. Also, give me multi-view, goddammit.
Yeah.
Let me see it all happen live. You can do it. You have the technology.
I want to watch archery. I want to watch all of the archery. Give me
I know
all
you're
of it.
all about that archery.
All right, let's move on into out of sports and into television news. Well, I've got bad news for people who liked to scrape the Comedy Central website for old clips of The Daily Show. You can no longer do that, as you can no longer watch archived Comedy Central shows on their website. because Paramount Global has removed the online archives to ComedyCentral.com, TVLand.com, MTVNews.com, and CMT.com from public access. The move takes away a quarter century or more of online content. There is now a message, excuse me, that will redirect you to Paramount. Quote, we have introduced more streamlined versions of our sites, driving fans to Paramount Plus to watch their favorite shows. End quote. The ComedyCentral.com website hosted clips from all episodes, yes, every single one of The Daily Show since 1999. I also had bits of Stephen Colbert's The Colbert Report, and before the streaming deals, I at some point hosted every episode of South Park as well. So it was quite a receptacle for Comedy Central's output, and it was useful for a lot of people, and now it's just gone. However, I did see some of this stuff has been archived on archive.org. Mm-hmm. Some eagle-eyed people grabbed a lot of stuff right before it got taken down and have uploaded it there. So if you want some of this stuff, there are ways. That is what I will say. There are ways to get it.
I mean, there's always ways to get content. Yes, you just gotta know which surface to scratch.
Just gotta know where to go.
Yep. Which way you want to see your content.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've talked about this before, especially with content being pulled in a direction, especially off streaming, that you can no longer watch with two eyes. With both your eyes, that you may have to divert one away.
Right.
In a very popular now way of doing things.
And I know you're always sick of us parroting this over and over and over on this podcast. And
I'm not gonna peg you with all of this constantly.
Yeah, no, we're not gonna. And like at the end of the day, sometimes you just want to watch your favorite show and drink some rum.
Enough about that.
Media Boat Podcast. That's our job. That's what we are.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
And the boat. That's all. Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. We're
just full of that's why we're Media Boat.
We're full of nautical references. None of this is weird. Let's move on to some thoughts. I'm gonna cut you off at the pass right away and say, unfortunately, we cannot.
Pun.
Yes.
Pun.
Is pun. Unfortunately, we cannot talk about The Bear yet. I did not finish it. Like I told you, I wouldn't finish it because I only had 4 days. 5 days, technically. We only got through about 5 episodes. So I have not finished the season. We tabled this discussion for next week.
Yes. Sorry. You're halfway through.
Yes.
We'll talk about The Bear season 3 next week. I did finish it, but at least this gives you time to go through it a second time.
I see. One thing I will say about it though is the backlash is here, isn't it? The internet is divided about this season, and I don't quite get the division quite yet, but I also haven't finished it, so I will hold my opinion until next week.
Oh, I get the division. It's because season 3 does not have the ticking clock that season 1 and definitely season 2 had. That there definitely does not feel the weightiness of season 1 and season 2.
We'll talk about it.
It's there.
You
can feel it amongst everyone, but it's not as present. It's not as doom and gloom now, even though it kind of is, but because it's never like in the forefront.
It's The Bear. It's still pretty gloomy. Let's be real.
It is. It's there.
Anyway. But speaking of doom and gloom, you subjected yourself to more Netflix reality by watching season 2 of Netflix's The Mole. How'd that go?
Yeah, because I finished Netflix's The Perfect Match and currently in the middle of Netflix's Bridgerton season 3, which we're watching together. But in the meantime, between those, I did find myself watching Netflix's The Mole season 2. Although I did also watch I don't really watch it, but there's a golf anime on Netflix.
Okay, sure. Why not?
What's it called? Golf anime on Netflix. It's like Rising Impact. And it's cute and it's fun. It's funny. It's about a 3rd grader who's really good at golf. Think Happy Gilmore, just absolutely murders the ball. but can't putt for shit
Uh-huh.
or has no short game. So he goes to a all golf school and has to compete against different golf academies. It's super hilarious. It's super fun. It takes that anime genre with tongue we can wink and tongue in cheek that I like with the cooking show, Cooking War,
Mhm.
Food Wars,
Yeah,
and applies it to golf here.
sure.
So I think you might have fun with it.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm
Maybe if you
open
have time.
open. Sports anime is fun. It's a lot of it's a lot of craziness, which I
It,
appreciate.
it's funny, stupid too.
Yeah.
How serious they take it, and also like the over the top like intensity to make like a 6 year putt. So it's pretty fun. It's a pretty funny anime. But I
Well,
also watched The Mole season 2.
yeah, so
Uh,
what's up with the mole?
it's back. On the first 4 episodes are up. They are trying to hide who the mole is, trying to hide the saboteur. But at the same time, I don't think they're doing a good job because I think I know who the mole is, just like I knew in season 1 after the first episode. And we'll see if I'm right again because it's not about the players, it's about the edit. And Netflix, once again, super terrible at hiding their goddamn edits.
Yeah.
That it makes it obvious after the fact, of course. I know they're in a competition and they don't see the edits that because they're watching it, but from a third person party's perspective watching this thing, the edits are super obvious to me on who is the mole and how the games play out and where the mole gets sabotaged. So I blame producers, I blame editing on this to make it not as enjoyable, especially if I get this right for a second time in a row. And once again, I'm going to assume they're not going to do a reveal all of here's all the clues you missed. Here's where the saboteurs, which is what I really missed from the season 1. And I hope they do that with season 2. But if they don't, shame on you again.
But it is what it is. It's still the mole. It's still that ship.
Yeah, it's still that show. It's still Netflix reality,
Yeah.
paying for a 20-year-old reality show at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of, you mentioned briefly Perfect Match. We watched the first 2 episodes and I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't do it. I'm sorry. Every man on that show is just so embarrassing.
Shredded,
Well,
just
that
so
too,
ripped, just so rippled, just so into
but
themselves.
also so annoying.
Oh, yes.
I could not listen to them speak. I was just like, how are these women dealing with this? Like they like are just so devoid of any personality. I can't
Who
watch
needs
these men.
personality when you have abs? Who needs personality when you have babes? Who needs personality when you can just go waff your hair, ha 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 ha, hey, and just swoon over everyone?
Are you doing a character from your golf anime right now? Is that what's
No, no,
happening?
no. That's all from Perfect Match.
Fair enough. All right, let's move on. That's pretty much all we watched this week. I didn't watch anything else.
All
So
right.
let's move into cancellations and renewals.
What am I no longer watching?
You're no longer watching the Big Door Prize because it's been canceled after 2 seasons. Are you sad to see it go?
I forgot season 2 was even out.
So the answer to
I
that
am the reason
question,
it got canceled.
no. Yeah, you were the last person. You didn't care, so they canceled it. Good job. All right. Renewals this week, though, we have an interview with the vampire on AMC getting a 3rd season. There's a certain quadrant of my Twitter that won't shut up about this show. Apparently, people like it. And then the aforementioned Perfect Match will be getting a 3rd season on Netflix,
Yeah, it
and I
is.
will not be watching it.
Oh, that's okay because Too Hot to Handle comes out in 2 weeks, and you will
Nope,
be watching that.
nope, I won't. No,
Yes, you
can't
will.
get
They
me.
updated
Can't.
Lana. It's a new
Nope,
cone this time.
you can't do it. You can't do that
Yes,
to
you can.
me. All right, we have a
Sleepy
couple of
Island
deaths.
returns.
Sure. We have a couple of deaths to talk about real briefly. I'll start with the top here. This is sad. Martin Mull, age 80, actor, was most famous for his role in the movie Clue, as well as a recurring role as the teacher in Sabrina the Teenage Rich. Rich,
Principal, come
wow.
on.
Witch, sorry, I was looking at the R in Roseanne. I said rich instead of witch. And then
Yes.
Roseanne. But yeah, also kind of the recurring characters, all sorts of different sitcoms and movies who just pop up when you least expect them. A millennial favorite, Martin Mull, and he will be missed
Mhm.
for sure.
Yes. The original surprise actor.
Exactly. And then also this week, Bill Cobbs, actor, age 90, was in films such as The Bodyguard, Demolition Man, and Air Bud.
Most of us 90s kids will know that he was the high school coach or the high school janitor turned coach in Air Bud.
Ah, I see.
Yes, because there's no rule that a dog can't play basketball.
Yes, turns out they check. All right, let's move on out of television then and move into movies. We start the movies with the weekend box office numbers. Your number one movie is still Inside Out 2 at a whopping this week with $57 million, a whopping $469 million domestic. And guess what, baby? It is now the fastest animated film to get to $1 billion. It did it in 2 weeks, folks. It's at 1.05 billion worldwide and is now in 7th place for movies since 2020. You were holding your hands
I'm sorry.
over your face in agony. Why?
No, this is did anyone see this coming? Who could have saw this coming?
It's
Did
weird.
anyone like predict this?
I don't think we did, but like it is
No, this is
amazing.
not number seven. This is the seventh movie to hit $1 billion
Oh,
since
since
2020.
2020. Okay, got it.
And to put that into perspective, in 2019, there were 9 movies that made $1 billion.
Right. Yeah, since then things have slowed down quite a bit.
Yes.
But yeah, something about Inside Out 2 struck a chord with people who are nostalgic, I guess, for a certain era of Pixar, and they all flocked to the theaters and it all worked. So I don't know what secret sauce that is, but it needs to be spread out among the studios because nothing else hit.
Uh, yeah, I mean, it's hard to say if it's because it's a sequel, because as we know, that means Pixar the Bin becomes the sequel machine, and there goes all
Yeah,
your original IPs.
it's a risk.
Or it just could be that it's a family movie in the middle of summer and it has no competition, which I really hope is the reason.
Yeah.
And yet it will have some competition coming in this upcoming week in
Regardless,
this
though, Disney,
department.
you know that Disney is going to Disney and going to take all the wrong lessons from this as opposed to the right ones.
Oh yeah, Inside Out 3 coming soon. And guess what? Riley Howe has a little kid. No, not Riley has a
No.
little kid, but Riley
Oh.
has to deal with a little sister or brother.
Oh no, we're not doing that. No, I refuse. Let's not do that.
Yes.
Anyway,
Parents
here's
getting
the rest
busy.
of the no. Let's go into the rest of the top five. Number two, A Quiet Place Day One with $52 million in its debut this week. Number three, Horizon: An American Saga Dash Chapter One. This is another one of those
This is
Kevin
the Kevin
Costner.
Costner.
Yeah,
Yes. Kevin Costner left Yellowstone to do this.
right. Dad movies. This made $11 million in its debut. Number four, Bad Boys Ride or Die with another $10 million. That's at 165. And rounding out your top five, Kalki, 2898 AD. I have no idea what this is. And it made $5.4 million.
This is the Bollywood movie.
Ah, I see.
Shiva has come back. Or sorry,
Oh,
Vishnu has come back
well,
in an
yeah.
avatar form
Okay.
in 2898 AD. So it's futuristic, but
Oh,
also prophetic.
ooh. Well, there you go. Something for everybody this week. Uh, Now let's talk about new releases. Because it's the holiday weekend, we do have two special holiday releases: Despicable Me 4 and Max Scene. That's Ma Triple X Ein. Both of those movies are coming out technically tomorrow, so you can see them early, and we will
One day early. Yep.
do those 4-day weekend tallies for you
4th of
next
July
week.
totals. Yep.
So look forward to that.
So we'll see how well Despicable 4 does. Because probably people want to beat the Heat with their family. So
Yes.
$100 million opening for Despicable Me.
It's probably gonna happen, isn't it? It's probably
It
gonna
probably
happen.
is, isn't it?
Well,
All right.
who can say?
I mean, I
Those
guess we could
minions.
watch it at home.
People like those
We
minions.
could.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of watching at home, I guess that was your attempt at a segue that I botched.
It was.
That was my fault.
Thank you for botching the segue, just like Segway botched the segue.
Yeah, it's true. Um, Hey, remember this is probably in the top five favorite stories we've ever covered here on the Media Boat podcast. We loved this one. We loved it so much we brought it up again at the end of the year that year, just
Yep.
because of how funny we thought it was. Did you know, if you listen to the show, you did, but if you didn't listen to the show back then, you might not know that Redbox, yes, that kiosk outside of your grocery store that lets you rent movies, is owned by Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment. Yes, of those books. Well, now you do. But also, that might not be the case anymore because Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment has filed for bankruptcy protection. This comes at the tail end of a month in which the DVD rental company defaulted on loans, saw an order for its cars to be repossessed, and missed payroll for employees. It's a pressing matter for the company, as employees have been waiting for paychecks since June 21st. Eeh. The company also promised to reinstate health insurance for its employees, which had lapsed back in May. Bad news all over. Chicken Soup's bankruptcy filing shows that the company owes money to a number of retailers, including Walmart and Walgreens, as well as major Hollywood studios like Universal, Sony, Lionsgate, and Warner Brothers. The company recently settled one of its lawsuits with NBC Universal, but promptly missed the first agreed upon payment, leading to a court order to pay the entire $16.7 million balance. Altogether, Chicken Soup has $970 million in debt, according to the bankruptcy filing. I bet they're regretting this purchase now.
We thought it was funny when they purchased it initially.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think their downfall was getting rid of video games in the red box. And from
No, that just
there,
affected us personally on personal levels. I don't know if that actually did them in.
well, yeah, because they stopped getting my money from it. And yeah, with the rise of streaming and direct on demand, just DVDs, as we talked about for the past, oh God, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. How long
Yep.
are we talking about the fall of DVD sales now? Um, but yeah, just Redbox, one of those last places where you could still get DVDs. No more because can't get it from Netflix anymore. Best Buy, Target, and Walmart have stopped selling DVDs altogether. And now Redbox, where you could have still gotten a rental for DVD. Sorry, no. I guess you
Yeah.
now either have to stream it or purchase it from Amazon or
Yeah, digital
directly from
storefront. Yeah.
digital storefront.
The
Yeah.
only thing is it's about 5 times the cost that it used to be to get a DVD from Redbox. Instead of $1 a day, it's $5 for what is it, 48 hours, I believe,
Yep.
a
48
period of time
hours.
typically.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's not ideal, but then again, they kind of bet on a losing dog here. I think that they should have seen the writing on the wall that Redbox was an enterprise that was on its way out, even when they purchased it. They did take on a lot of responsibility, as this story mentions. Redbox, like selling, like renting DVDs, like you have to pay the retailer that you're out front of. Also, you have to pay these studios. That's big money, and they just
Mhm.
weren't able to do it. So yeah, RIP Redbox. You'll probably won't see them soon. They'll probably get liquidated alongside with all the rest of the assets of the company. I can't imagine they've recovered from this.
I don't know if they can financially recover from this. It's almost $1 billion in debt.
And maybe go back to just the books. I think that may be what you where your bread and butter was. And you know what bread and butter goes really well with? Chicken soup. Anyway,
Full
that'll do
circle.
it. War movies. Yeah, nailed it. See, I made up for botching the segue by
Yes.
doing that sweet landing. That's it for movies, and that's it for the Media Boat podcast, because I don't think we have any movie thoughts.
I tried watching a movie.
Okay.
It's called A Family Affair.
A family affair.
It's I think it's on Netflix. You can see where I was watching almost my time this past week. Stars Zac Efron and Nicole Kidman, where
Okay.
Zac Efron hooks up with Nicole Kidman.
Okay.
So Nicole Kidman has a kid. The kid works for Zac Efron.
Mm-hmm.
Zac Efron fires the kid. Zac Efron tries to get the kid back. Kid's not home, but mom is home. They have some tequila. They hook up. Zac Efron wants Nicole Kidman now. And comedy, family hilarity possibly ensues.
Possibly because you didn't finish
I didn't finish it. No, I couldn't finish it.
it.
It was very awkward. It was very rough. It definitely felt like, what are you doing here to both Nicole Kidman and Zac Efron? Like, you're both better than this. Also, like, why? How did you
Mhm.
get roped into this?
Fair question, I think.
Yeah, because Zac Efron is playing a stereotypical like male actor in Hollywood who needs a rewrite on his film, and Nicole Kidman is a best-selling author who is a writer, and that's how they punch up the script and then punch each other up in the bedroom. And wouldn't you know it, the daughter walks in, finds them, gets injured. Oh no, who could have seen that coming? And then I stopped watching because how many of these cliches could you fit into the first half hour?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those.
It's one of those.
Well, I guess one of those to avoid then.
I mean, I think I want to finish it just to get it out of my queue. Then again, it's one of those things I'm going to finish by not really watching it, just having it on. But yeah, that was A Family Affair on Netflix. Wow, do we have anything worth like positive to say?
It's the dog days of summer, except it's not,
It is.
but it's the early days of summer. But in this case, yeah, we're kind of waiting for the big
Mission Adventures.
releases.
There you go.
Yeah, that was fun. But
Yeah,
it's not from this year, I guess. I
it's
thought
not
it
from this
was,
year.
but I guess it's not. Anyways, hey, maybe next week we'll have more fun stuff to talk about. So tune in then. If you want to watch us in video form, you can go to YouTube and search Media Boat Podcast there. Like, subscribe our channel, click the bell for notifications when new videos go live. You can also find us in podcast form on any podcatcher of your choice. Just search Media Boat Podcast on there, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever you listen to your casts. You can also find us on the web, mediaboatpodcast.com. Social media, you can find us on X/Twitter at MediaBoatCast. Blue Sky, just search Media Boat Podcast on there. Media Boat Podcast on Facebook. Media Boat Podcast on twitch.tv, actually, twitch.tv/MediaBoat, where you can see occasional video games being played by us. And then, last but definitely not least, if you have any questions, comments, feedback that you want to give about the show, please email us at mediaboatpodcast@gmail.com. We will read those emails on the air. We haven't had an email in a very long time. So please send those emails in. We are hungry for your questions. We're just starving.
Yeah. So send them in. We'll read your question and answer it on the air.
It's true.
Uh,
All right. With that, you'll see you guys next week
have
for
a
all sorts of stuff.
safe weekend as you
Mhm.
celebrate the
Yes.
Independence Day of the United States.
Leave the fireworks to the professionals, please. Please.
Yes. And
Please.
leave the food in my belly.
Yes. And get those thunder shirts for your dogs.
Yes.
They're so cute. Anyways.
Yes. Yes. Call your dogs. They're always scared.
Yeah, the
And,
poor things.
Border kids. They would be scared too.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway. All right. See you guys next week.
We'll be back next week with more news, more thoughts, and more of us.
Indeed.
Okay, bye.
Good night.